I did something cruise travelers are constantly told not to do. I flew to Honolulu the morning my Celebrity Edge cruise was leaving. It was a calculated risk, and there were some very specific reasons I decided to take it. So in this video, I'll take you through exactly what embarkation in Honolulu was like, what I would do first, what can wait, and a few things that can make the first day much easier and less stressful. Hi, I am Bonnie from Voyage Cruise and Travel. I've sailed on Celebrity Edge twice and taken more than 50 cruises, and this embarkation day started a little differently than most. Just arrived here in Honolulu. The flight was on time, it was pretty easy, and the weather is gorgeous. Now, if you're arriving early like I did, there's something useful to know about the airport. It is a long walk from some of the gates to baggage claim, and if you want something to eat or drink, I would get it before heading downstairs. Once you collect your luggage, you can't go back into the main terminal because of the agriculture screening. There is outdoor seating, and I found a Starbucks upstairs on the outside of the terminal. Before you arrive, make sure you've completed your Celebrity check-in on the app. That's where you'll find your assigned check-in time. I had plenty of time, so I wasn't in a hurry. I knew Celebrity Edge was in Terminal 2, and I decided I'd head over around noon and see if they could let me check in early. So the ride share is now on the lower level. Last year it was on the upper level, just so you know. From the airport, my Uber was about $35 and took roughly 20 to 30 minutes, depending on traffic. So off to the cruise terminal. Let's see if showing up early to check in works as well. Uber dropped us right at the entrance, and the first stop was the baggage drop. Make sure your luggage tags are already attached and keep everything you'll need for the next few hours with you in your carry-on. I showed my boarding pass on the Celebrity app to enter the building, and from there the process was surprisingly simple. First, they checked my passport and documents, then I went through security. Just as a reminder, no open containers are allowed through security. I watched someone have to empty the contents of his, so keep that in mind. And then I thought, where is everyone? The facility is huge, almost like a convention center, with plenty of seating, air conditioning, and water available near check-in. And as you can see, all those stanchions were completely empty. For the final check-in, I showed my app and passport again, and that was it. From the time I walked into the terminal, the entire process took about 10 minutes. No lines, and there was no problem at all arriving before my assigned time. Honestly, it almost felt more like I was returning from a shore excursion than embarking on a cruise. And just like that, I was on board Celebrity Edge. Once on board, you enter right into the Grand Plaza area, and my first impression was, oh, this is nice. It's not a circular design, it's more like a long design. People were already settling in with drinks and coffee, and the pastries here are complimentary even if you don't purchase a coffee. But here's something I noticed on embarkation day. A lot of people seem to walk on board and just stay here. You don't have to. Before I did anything else, I checked the Celebrity app for my muster station and went there first. Shows A4 right there with muster, and that's what A4 is. I asked once I came on, so you want to get that taken care of right away. Mine happens to be here. You don't need your room key, and once that's taken care of, it's one less thing to think about. Our rooms weren't quite ready yet, but I could still head towards mine and drop off my carry-on so I didn't have to haul it around the ship. And here's a little tip from sailing Edge before. Instead of following everyone toward the elevators near the Grand Plaza, I veered toward the aft elevators. They tend to be much less crowded on embarkation day, and they are faster. At this point, everything had been so easy. I noticed the colors, the open space, even the elevators. And this kind of feels like a department store to me. And when you get to your cabin, don't worry if you haven't been handed a room key because it's waiting for you right on the door. Man, this is nice. So this is considered an ocean room deluxe. I had no idea it was floor to ceiling windows. I thought I was going to get a porthole. Wow, this is a beautiful ship. It does remind me of the Sun Princess colors, but the theme of the room is so different. I mean, it has this beautiful, big, spacious window, and it's got a couch. It has a little hidden outlet section, but I'll be showing you all that as I go around. But I am just pleasantly surprised about this room. Once you're settled, this is a good time to grab a copy of Celebrity Today. It should be in your room, or check the app for what is happening around the ship. You don't need to figure the entire cruise out right now. Just see if there's anything that you don't want to miss and make sure you note the time. And my next priority was much simpler: lunch. This is such a beautiful design. All the glass and the natural light and the light colors, it's just really beautiful. Oceanview Cafe on deck 14 was open until 3:30 on this particular sailing. So after traveling all morning, I was definitely ready to have something to eat. Bakery, pasta, it all looks really good. The antipasta, the antipasta salads, hummus. After lunch, there was one thing I did want to straighten out: dinner. My dining reservation wasn't showing in the app, so I stopped by the dining room to see if I could talk to someone. No one was there yet, and I noticed quite a few people waiting at guest services. It turned out the reservation system was having problems, so instead of spending my afternoon worrying about it, I decided I'd come back before dinner and figure it out. And that's an important first day reminder. Take care of the things that really matter, but everything doesn't have to be solved the minute you get on board. So I went exploring. The Solarium was incredibly quiet. It's the spa cafe. This is beautiful. My goodness. I'm liking the thick lounge chair pads. It's nice. There were only a few people around the pool. It always looks nicer without a ton of people around, but you know, if this holds 3,600 people, I don't know where they all are. This is a really interesting design. And I stopped by the spa for the Embarkation day tour and took a look at the gym. Yeah.
It's for you over here.
Oh.
And then you're gonna lie, of course. As you lie face up, we open an oxygen pump here that's gonna help to with your breathing rhythm as well, okay? You're getting full body massage for 75 minutes with your mini height.
That's when it's the amethyst.
Oh wow.
You come clean and
This is really nice with all the natural light.
yes, and then you go.
Oh, there's penguins. The spa changing room. A lot of people enjoy using the showers because they're large. And this doesn't cost anything. You can put your things in here if you want to go take a walk. Upstairs is the gym from the spa. But this is what the gym looks like. It's really, like I say, all the use of natural light is beautiful. At one point I remember thinking again, where is everyone? Oh, here's the magic carpet bar. This is the thing that goes up and down. Since my dining reservation still wasn't showing, I went down around 5 o'clock before the dinner rush to get it sorted out. That buffet looks really good. I'm really liking that they have a view. Look, it's peaceful here. And that's all you want in a solarium. Like my last ship I was on wasn't too peaceful. Wow, that looks really pretty up there. It's made out of pearls. Because I sailed on Celebrity Edge before, I knew exactly what I wanted. A standalone table in Cyprus restaurant, the same one I had on my previous cruise, and luckily it was available. After dinner, I spoke with the hostess again and was able to arrange that same time and table for the rest of my cruise. I preferred that. Come to find out, the reservation system was actually down for a couple days, so I am really glad I took care of that early instead of waiting until the dining rooms were too busy. And while I was sitting there having dinner, Celebrity Edge quietly sailed away from Honolulu. No big sail away party for me. I watched Hawaii disappear from my table in the Cyprus restaurant. And just like that, the cruise was underway. After dinner, I spent some time walking around the ship and getting reacquainted with where everything was. And that's really all I needed from my first day. I didn't need to see or do everything. I've gotten on board, taken care of the things that mattered to me, had dinner, and now I could relax and enjoy the cruise. But there was still one question I really hadn't answered. Was flying to Honolulu that morning actually worth the risk? For me, on this particular trip, yes, it was. One thing that mattered in my decision was that I had a non-stop flight. Personally, I wouldn't add a connection to a same-day arrival. That adds another place where something can go wrong. Time difference worked in my favor. My flight arrived in Honolulu in the morning, and Celebrity Edge wasn't scheduled to leave till around 6 p.m. I also saved the cost of an extra night in Honolulu, but I knew when I booked that flight, I was taking a risk. And if something had significantly delayed or canceled my flight, this could have been a very different Embarkation Day video. And I got a pretty good reminder of that on my way home. My flight from Vancouver was delayed about 2.5 hours, and there was a couple near me worried about making their connection because they had a cruise leaving from Los Angeles. One of the flight attendants told them she'd been on about 15 cruises and never flew the day of the trip because she didn't want to take the chance. And I was sitting there thinking, well, I guess it really can go either way. So I think the takeaway is look at your flight options, how much time you actually have, the cost, your itinerary, and most importantly, how comfortable are you with the possibility that something could go wrong? For me, the savings and convenience were worth the calculated risk on this particular sailing. But that's a decision I would make trip by trip. And once you made it on board, my best advice, again, is not feel like you have to figure it all out on day one. Take care of what matters first, get something to eat, get acquainted with the ship, and give yourself permission to enjoy the fact that you made it. The rest of the cruise is still ahead of you. It's been my pleasure showing you Celebrity Edge and all that it has to offer on Embarkation Day. If you do find this helpful, informative, or you've learned something, please make sure you give that a thumbs up. I do have a playlist on Celebrity Edge showing lots of different things about the ship, and you can check that out here. If you are interested in cruise tips and travel information, I'd love for you to subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Happy cruising, and until next time.